Welcome everyone to another class for CFA Level 1. In today's video, we will be doing the remaining portion for fee structure. So in the previous class, we had seen two major clauses for the performance fees. One was the hurdle rate, the second was the catch-up clause. We also did an example which differentiated between hard hurdle rate, soft hurdle rate, and what a catch-up clause means, right? So today what we will do high watermark, clawback provisions and waterfall structure. Again, we will take couple of simple numerical example to understand what does this means, what is its implication, and then we will take full-fledged questions. We will take full-fledged questions uh, afterwards. Okay, so let us start. High high watermark. High watermark says that no performance fees will be paid on the gains that only offset previous year losses, which means your performance fees is nothing but equal to value of percentage of value which is exceeding the highest value recorded. Okay, so let us see what it means with the help of an example. Okay, so what is high watermark saying? It is saying that no performance fees for gains that offset previous losses. Okay, which means commission will only be paid or performance fees will only be paid when your asset under management or the value of the asset increases every year. Okay, so let us understand this with the help of an example. Suppose the initial beginning value of an investment was $100 million. Suppose in year one the value of the fund became $108 million. In year two the value of fund became $105 million, and in year three the value of fund became $110 million. And suppose in year 4 again the value of fund became $105 million. Okay, let us consider performance fees to be 20% with high watermark. Okay, so using understanding this concept, what will be the performance fees for year 1? Performance fees for year 1 will be 20% of 108 minus 100, which is 1.6. Okay, in year 2, since there is a loss, hence no performance fees. Now the interesting part starts. What will happen in year 3? Will the 20% be computed on 110 minus 105, or 20% will be computed on 110 minus 108? Now here you need to understand what watermark says. High watermark says that there is no performance fees for gains that offset previous year losses. Okay, so basically what is the previous year loss with respect to 110? It is $3 million. That is 108 minus 105. Correct. So basically when we were reaching to a value of 110, we have offsetted a loss of $3 million, and then we made a fresh profits of $2 million. So high watermark says that you are not entitled to any performance fees on gains which are offsetting previous year losses. Okay, considering that there will be no performance fees on gains that are offsetting previous year losses, hence it will not be 110 minus 105, instead it will be 110 minus 108. Okay, so it will be 0.4. Then again, for year 4, what will be the performance fees? It will be 115 minus 110, which is 1. So I guess by the help of this example, you guys must be able to understand what high watermark means, right? From a graphical standpoint, and guys, you can draw it since it is not in the material. If the investment value and time. So initially your bonus will be on this portion, then it will be on this portion, and then it will be on this portion. So any gains that you are making, which is offsetting previous year losses, are not entitled for performance fees. Are we clear? Guys, are we clear? I hope we are clear. Then we come to clawback provision. What does clawback provision means? It means general partners receive incentive payments on gains that are subsequently received by reversed by losses. The LPs would recover the previous incentive paid to the general partner. So what it means? It means, in a way, the general partners also become partners in losses, not only partners in profit. Okay. So we will take another example to understand what does clawback provision means. Suppose again in year 1 the value of the fund is $100 million. In year 2 the value of fund is $105 million. And in year 3 suppose the value of fund is $103 million. In year 4 the value of fund is $98 million. Okay. Suppose performance fees is 20% with a clawback provision. So let us compute what is the performance fees for the fund manager. So for year 1, what will be the performance fees? It will be 20% of 105 minus 100, which is 1. Now in year 2 you will see that the value of fund has decreased, which means the fund has incurred a loss. Now with the clawback provision in place, the thought process will be, ideally, what is the entitlement of GP, assuming the fund increased from 100 to 103. So under the clawback provision, whenever there is a loss in the fund, uh, which are subsequent to a profit in the fund, the thought process will be that if we assume that the fund never profited, right, then what is the original entitlement of the general partner? So the original entitlement of the general partner will be 20% of 103 minus 100, which is zero point 0.6. But in previous year, what is the amount which was paid to the partner? General partner, it was 1. His entitlement is zero point 0.4. So the amount of clawback from him will be 1 minus zero point 0.6, which is zero point 0.4. So zero point 0.4 will be clawed back. Now in year 4, the fund is $98 million, which means the fund has actually went into a loss. Correct. Now since the fund is into loss, is the fund manager entitled to any performance fees? Is fund manager entitled to any performance fees? No. What is the amount of performance fees the fund manager has received till now after all clawbacks and all? So the fund manager has $0.6 million as of now, with $98 million of the value of the fund manager is not entitled to any kind of performance fees. So this entire $0.6 million will be recovered from the fund manager. You need to understand, guys. In just a second, guys. Yeah. So basically, we need to understand one point with respect to clawback provision is that over here, limited partners are entitled to recover from the general partner only to that extent of money which was earlier paid to them as incentive fees. So basically, over here, if you see, the value of the fund deteriorated from $100 million to $98 million. So this is a $2 million loss to the limited partner. But ideally, the limited partners, $2 million loss to the limited partner. But ideally, limited partners don't have the right to recover any portion of this loss from the general partner. Limited partner can only recover that portion of money from the general partner which was originally paid to them in the form of incentive fees. Okay, guys. So with this, we are done with the clawback provision as well. Next, what we will do is a very important part of your uh, incentive structure, and this actually, if the deal is structured in this way, this changes the return for a limited partner as well. So let us see. It is known as a waterfall structure. What is a waterfall structure? Waterfall structure refers to the way in which payments are allocated between the general partners and the limited partners as profit and losses are realized by deals. So basically, the agreement between the limited partners and the general partner in terms of how the profits will be distributed between them, how the profits and losses will be distributed between them, is known as a waterfall structure. So there are two kinds of waterfall structure that is predominant. One is the American style and the other is the European style. Okay, what is the American style? The American style of the waterfall structure is also known as the deal by deal structure. In essence, basically, this structure says that profit will be distributed between limited partners and the general partner after each deal has happened. So, rather than looking at the value of the fund at the beginning of the deal and the end, at the beginning of the year and the end of the year, this structure says that no, whenever a deal will happen, the profits will be shared between the limited partners and the um, general partner. So profits are distributed as and when each investment is sold, and sharing happens as per partnership agreement. This is more favorable to the general partners. Why? Because general partners will receive higher cash flows basis this kind of a structure. How they will receive a higher cash flow is something we will see in the example. The second is the European structure, or known as the whole of the fund structure. Under the whole of the fund structure, the limited partners will receive all the funds until they have received 100% of the investment plus the hurdle rate, and then the general partner receives their fees. It protects the interest of the limited partners, yes. Why? Because using the European structure, limited partners are sure that I will receive my investment as well as my hurdle rate or the expected return on that investment. Only when I recover both of them, general partner will come into picture and take a performance fees out of it. Okay, so there is a huge protection of interest under the European structure. We will take a simple example in order to understand how both of these structure operate. So suppose there is a maxim fund that executed three deals in a year. Okay, deal one was exit at $75 million. Value was $60 million. Okay, deal 2 exit was $50 million. and value was $50 million. Okay. In deal 3, exit was $40 million and value was $50 million. Okay. Compute GP's share as per American and the European structure. Okay. And the third point, compute LP's return under each structure. Okay. So this is the question given to us. So basically, we are said that the fund has executed 3 deals in the year, and we have to compute what a GP is entitled to receive and what is the return for an LP. Okay. Suppose performance fees is given at 20%, there is no clawback, and there is no hurdle rate. Okay, so this is given to us. So now let us compute the GP share. So in deal 1, deal 2, deal 3, exit is given at 75, 50 and 40. Value was 60, 50 and 50. Profit slash loss. So profit is 15, no profit, no loss in deal 2, and in deal 3 loss was 10. Okay. See over here, it is given that performance fees is 20%, but it is nowhere written that general partner is also liable for the loss of the limited partner. So what happened in this scenario is that in a deal where there is a profit, general partner is entitled to a share. However, in a deal when there is no profit or when there is a loss, general partner is not liable to pay the amount for the losses. Okay. So over here, GP's share at the rate 20% will be $3 million for deal 1, nothing for deal 2, and even for deal 3 it will be nothing. Why? Because general partner is not liable for the losses in a deal. General partner is entitled for a profit, share in profit when the deal is profitable, but general partner has to pay nothing when the deal is a loss making deal. So the total amount that is receivable by general partner is 3. Okay. Let us see this in under a European structure. In the European structure, the profit and loss or the sharing between the LP and GP happens for the entire fund as a whole. So profit or loss will be computed for all the funds combined. So it will be deal deal 1 plus deal 2 plus deal 3, that is 75 plus 50 plus 40. The total is 165 minus 60 plus 50 plus 50, which is 160. So the total profit is 5. General partner share at the rate 20% will be equal to 1. So Under the European structure, general partner is entitled to $1 million. Under the American structure, general partner is entitled for $3 million. So if you see, general partner's interest is protected under the American structure, while limited partner's interest is protected under the European structure. Now, when we compute the return for limited partner, it can be computed as the exit value minus GP's share divided by value, that is given as 165 minus 3 by 160, which is 162 by 160. For a European structure, it will be exit value minus GP's share divided by value. Again, this will be 165 minus 1 by 160, which is 164 by 160. So the return will be, guys, let me calculate. 162, it will be 1.25%, and it will be 2.5%. So, guys, if you see, under the American structure, the return that LPs make is just 1.25%, whereas the return that the LPs are making under the European structure is 2.5%. And thus, we can say that interest of LPs are protected under the European structure, and American structure is profitable for the fund manager or the general partners. So, with this, we are done with the last topic of waterfall structure for the incentive fees. So with this, we have completely covered the fee structure in case of alternative investment. So to recap the major point that we have studied, initially we studied that fee structure comprises of two fees. One is the management fees, other is the performance fees or the incentive fees. It is similar to a fixed plus variable compensation for an employee. Management fees is a simpler concept, performance fees is a complicated concept. Management fees is usually applied on asset under management in case of an hedge fund. It is applied on committed capital in case of a private equity. Performance fees is a simple percentage of the profits that is earned by the fund manager. However, there are 5 to 6 nuances that is to be covered. The first is the hurdle rate. Hurdle rate comprises of soft hurdle rate, hard hurdle rate. The second is the catch up clause. Catch up clause is like soft hurdle rate. However, some protection is available to the limited partners. The third is the high watermark. High watermarks means that previous current gains which offset previous losses not entitled for performance fees. The fourth is a clawback provision where general partner also become interested in the fund, and uh, become a part of the fund, and they share profits as well as losses. The fifth, the point that we have done is waterfall. Within waterfall, we have covered the European structure, the American structure. Under the American structure, a general partner is favored and he has a higher return, whereas under a European structure, the interest of LPs are protected. So with this, guys, we are done with our fee structure. In the next class, we will meet where we will do some really good questions on this topic so that there is more concept clarity on this. Thank you, guys, and happy studying.